So greetings to one and all. Today we have Captain Akhilesh Saxena, who has led 3 major attacks in the Kargil War. Thank you so much for your time and having us here with you, sir. It's really a pleasure.
Thanks.
And it has always been a thing. There are many documentaries, and the Kargil War itself has been recorded in multiple aspects. But it still is very fascinating to know about the war, actually what happened. So I think the viewers would really like to know your opinion and your side of the story with regards to the Kargil War.
Yeah. So actually Kargil War was totally different from 3 others war which we have fought, like India, which fought 47, 62, 65 and then 71 war also. Because they were more like conventional war, right? Where both our army were in front with each other and all. Kargil was a little different war, right? So what happened, just to give you a background, there is one NH1. NH1 connects India from Srinagar, Jammu, Srinagar and go up to Leh Ladakh.
Correct.
And the entire supply line of Leh Ladakh goes to that NH1. It's also called a neck of India, right? Because your entire stocking in Leh Ladakh region is being done in these 4 months when this road, or 5 months where this road is open, right?
The logistic
yes.
And everything.
And thousands of truck goes and they do the stocking, arms, ammunition and also the food supply and all. And that's why, this Leh Ladakh region survived. Right. Now you just think if somebody is able to cut that road and that supply is not able to reach to Leh Ladakh region, right? So they are not prepared for kind of winters, right? In that way, they can easily cut it and capture it. And that was the larger game plan, if I say, from the enemy side. Their first move was occupy all the hills which are just on the side of NH1, right? Occupy these hills. Whenever supply start, you block the road because then you can bring the fire the way you want, right? Don't allow any supply. Keep that situation just for the 4 months, right? So that entire summer is over. After that, there will be so much of snow that you anyway cannot move, right?
It's all barriers.
Barrier. So then cut the entire supply line, isolate Leh Ladakh, and then in winter, it will be much easier for, adversary, one side China, Pakistan to capture that region. That was a larger game plan, right? And they really planned it very well, right? They started planning for this, I think, at least 2 to 3 years in advance. They have taken a lot of arms, equipments, for the snow warfare. And in a very slow manner, otherwise, just to ensure that they are not being detected by Indian intelligence agencies, right? So they started there. Now, another thing which I want to take, which is very interesting thing, these all posts along the NH1, they are winter vacated posts. Winter vacated post means these posts are only being occupied during the summer time, not in winter time. And the region is not military, but it's economic region, because in winter, even if you have to put a, one food item, a hectare has to go. Nobody can climb because it is totally snowbound.
Right.
Temperature goes up to minus 28 to minus 40 degrees centigrade on these peaks, they are quite high. So India is a economically not so developed country. Pakistan is anyway, in a different situation. So it was an unwritten agreement that both the armies will come down after summer and nobody will stay on these peaks during winter, and next summer they will come up. So then Pakistan took advantage of this entire situation. In 1998, when both the army came down, say in September and October, Pakistani army after that, say around in November, December, slowly start moving up. Just 2, 3, 4 in a totally snow-clad dress, taking some equipments, small arms with them. And slowly they start building up this, and slowly they came inside the India.
The encroachment started happening.
Encroachment started. Right. And within these 3 months, in a very slow manner, this entire ridge or mountains which run from, starting from Srinagar till Leh Ladakh region, Daraz, Kargil, where the major encroachment took place, they occupied all the peaks. We were totally unaware, and we only came to know about it when Indian army start moving up in March, not even in March, in April or mid-May, right? And we were not knowing who is sitting over there. And they were full Pakistani army, totally trained. They all equipped, made a small bunkers with the help of kind of, stones. They were having rocket launchers. They were having the chemical weapons. They knew that, India can use all these things. So they just reinforced themselves. Now, in mountains warfare, anyone who is sitting on top at least 20 times more powerful. Even if he'll throw a stone, there will be casualty on other side.
The speed that favors the
speed, and then you are climbing up in a temperature of minus 15 to minus 17 degree, right? Where the oxygen is very rare. It's difficult to even breathe. And then there is nothing to hide also, because these mountains do not have any trees and all. Kargil, Daras. So you don't have any shade, you don't have anything to hide yourself. So they can see you. So even if they will throw the stone, there will be casualty. They knew only Indian forces can come from one side, from India side. They put mine all across. They knew there could be an air attack, so they were having the Stinger missile. And if you remember, our first two pilot, Flight Lieutenant Nachiketa,
right,
and Wing Commander Ahuja was shot by these Stinger missiles, right? So they were really prepared for this warfare, where starting of the war, they were having advantage of 20 times, or the chances of their victory was more than 95%. So that was the situation we were in, and their aim was only thing: keep this situation till next 4 months, and then
the job is done.
Job is done.
Right.
So they were very confident that at least they will be able to hold on to this, because Pakistani artillery was supporting them from the behind, and they were continuously putting fire on these entire roads, and whenever there was an attack from Indian Army. So I think this was the most difficult attack which Indian Army faced. In fact, when we called some of these analysts from outside, they say there's only one way, right? You cross the LOC, do a full-fledged war. But we don't want to do that, right? There was a lot of international pressure. So what government given us the permission is that you have to only launch attack from Indian side. And those attacks were more like suicidal mission, right? You are going something uphill where enemy can see you and take the...
They are already prepared, they have all the advantages, and then...
Yes.
Correct.
And the another thing, very important thing was, we were not totally prepared for this kind of warfare, so we were not having snow boots. We were not having the proper night vision devices. We were not prepared, right?
Proper gears
were not there. In fact, some of my Jawan made attack in the normal DMS boots, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so in terms of equipments, in terms of environment, in terms of weather, in terms of tactical advantage, I think, everywhere our enemy was much superior level. So this was a fight. When we started the fight, chances of a victory was not even 2%.
All negligible.
That's the kind of situation we were in. So this is a little background, how we turned the table, how despite in such a situation, we won the war, right? So we will talk about as we move on.
So like you mentioned, the Indian Army was completely unaware about how prepared the adversary is. And like you have mentioned, they had all the countermeasures ready. In the best of their potential, they knew what can the Indian Army do in this particular terrain,
exactly,
how well prepared they are, and also the, like how we say, the natural phenomenons also played a very great aspect.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, even throwing a stone would cause a casualty.
Yes.
So what were the first shocks, I would say, that the Indian Army, they received? The panic mode? When did the panic mode came in? Or to put it in the best way, how did the Indian Army realize that we are in a situation where for the first time the Pakistani army is on the superior side and we are absolutely unaware about what is going on? So how did you all manage to decode what is going on, and how are we now going to, the response that we are going to get into?
So initially we did not believe that, that enemy has taken so much of advantage. We never believed that it is Pakistan army which has occupied the entire 300 kilometer, and thousands of soldiers are spread across in a very coordinated move. It's like a proper coordinated move with supply line planned. They were having, as I say, Stinger missiles to kind of defend against any airstrike. They were also having the chemical mass just to ensure is there any chemical warfare India start. So they were really prepared. Now, initially, we did not believe it. We just thought there are some terrorists which are sitting on top, right? So initially, when the first team was just going to occupy, they were fired upon when they reached very close to the peak. Only one peak. No one else fired because they wanted the deception to stay as far as possible, right? So no one fired. And then there was some casualty. It came to CO. CO just thought maybe, few terrorists have gone there and they just want to scare, Indian army. So he said, then you remember, Captain Saurabh Kalia, he was leading a platoon just to, go up to that post. When he reached very close in the killing zone, then suddenly fire came. They kept fighting, right? They fought bravery, but they were totally outnumbered and they were totally surprised. and many of them were captured also. Kind of that's very bad incident which happened. But for an Indian army, it was really a shock, to tell you truth, because we were totally unprepared. We never thought that there could be so much of army sitting inside our inside our boundaries and occupying all the peaks. And the way they have done just to deceive our intelligence system, and they've done it beautifully, right? So we could not catch them early. And now the situation was that we didn't know how to do this, because going through these peaks was like a suicide mission. Then next thing came to us, let's put the airstrike, right? Then we started airstrike. Now airstrike is very successful if we go very, very deep inside, right? We are able to go close to enemy and then put attack, because they will go inside their bunker if you do it from. And then when flying is there at a kind of more than 10,000 feet, you drop a bomb because of temperature, humidity, even if it is a minor thing, right? It will not hit the peak, it will come down.
The precision
will be much more much more compromised in that way. So initially then Commander Nachiketa, Flight Lieutenant Nachiketa, he gone down, but then they were having the Stinger missile. He was shot. So then that option was kind of ruled out. Then we thought let's put the attacks. So then initial attacks was put by one Naga and 18 Grenadiers. That was the attack. They fought bravery with lot of kind of josh and courage, right? But then what happened? Then the Lieutenant Colonel Vishnathan, they have reached very close to these Tololing. Okay, let me also tell you, Tololing was the most important peak, and Pakistan used to call them the fort, because this was just bang on highway. So you now it is a Kargil War memorial at the same place, but they could see just there, right? And then they can put the fire. And the last 300-400 meter is like 85 degree slope, and with no kind of you can't hide anywhere. So Lieutenant Colonel Vishnathan led the attack. He kind of he reached very, very close to that, and then also followed by Major Adhikari. But both of them could not become successful, and even their body was lying there, right? So for an army, it's a shame and humiliation that we could not get the body of our officers and Jawan back, right? Then this mission was given to two Rajputana rifles, right? And with the help of definitely artillery, we decide that now it is time has come to bring the role of artillery much more into the battle, right? So I was FO with two Rajputana rifle. And then at my command, then we put a lot of artillery unit, nearly 120 large massive gun, including Bofors and other guns, 105 mm and all. They were all stacked up to help us in this support. The aim was, when the infantry is going up, right, then somebody need to put so much of fire on enemy that they cannot take the pot shot on our soldiers, and then we can move up. Then we used our rocket launcher, we made a firm base, we put a lot of ammunition and all. Colonel Ravindranath and me, we have done a lot of recce's, air recce, as well as, we have looked at the ground. We took 3-4 days just to plan our operations, from two sides that attack will go.
Correct.
So I think, till Tololing, we did not get any success, and Pakistan was very, very kind of, bullish in terms of saying that we will not vacate these peaks. At least we will stay there for the next few months, and then we will cut the entire road. And
the NH1 would be ours.
NH1 will be there, right? So we started this attack on 12th of June, and I think, continuously fighting, in fact 11th night, and continuously fighting for more than one day and night, because all attacks were in night. Day they could see us, much more clear. So from Indian Army perspective, all attacks were at night.
They still have the night vision to locate
us, but still, night vision will not give you so much of clarity was daylight. Right. So still we can, move closer. And then we started this attack. Before that, we have put so much of artillery fire to keep their head down, so that, when we started climb, they could not see us or they cannot move out. We started this attack, continuously fighting for entire night. And then when we reach on top, then they kind of, they started running back. I think, once we were on equal level, then Indian Army was much more, stronger force. And then they started running back. So we captured this peak on 13th of June, and I think that was the one major victory which turned the tide. But that was not achieved without a lot of human factor, Now I am only telling about the equipment, but I also want to bring some of the human factor here, how we could achieve it despite, everything going against us. The one very important thing was the junior leadership. Junior leadership, when I say captains, majors who were leading these attacks. And when we were going through these attacks, right, how do we motivate my Jawan, which is seeing that, so many attacks are failed, the chances of success is not even 1%. So we told our Jawans that, normally in command and control in training, officers is mostly in the middle, right? Just to ensure everything is being coordinated, command and all. But this is not a training, right? This is a real battle.
Correct.
And real battle, we will lead from the front.
This is not a drill. Right?
It's not a drill.
Correct.
And if the first bullet come, it will hit us. So we all given the same message. Me, Captain Vikram Batra, Captain Vijay Thapar, Major Acharya, everyone, Major Vivek Gupta, we say we will, all officers, young officers will lead from the front, right? That has changed the way, our entire forces were moving ahead. So that was the one major change, how we were able to motivate our Jawan to fight in a total adverse situation where the chances of victory was not even 1%. The second important thing, which I think, done a lot of good motivation for our thing, we were part of Rajputana Rifles, right? And if you remember, Rajputana, there's a tradition, they put a Kesariya Bana, olden days, right? Rajputanas and all. What is the symbol of Kesariya Bana? It symbolizes that when we are going for an attack, which is very difficult, we may not win. But then we just take an oath that either we will win or we will not come back. So you are going for a final kill, right? Whatever happens, you will win or we will not come back.
Regardless of the consequences.
Regardless of the consequences, if we will fight and we will win. If we will not win, then we will not come back. There is nothing like coming with defeat, right? Because there were too many attacks failed. And actually, it's the honor of the country and the prestige of tricolor which was at stake,
we
right?
cannot take that humiliation.
Yes, this cannot be done because, enemy has put us in such a condition that they were having all the advantage. But we say we will turn everything down, right? Because, and that there I want to bring this human aspect, right? How human aspect sometimes become more powerful than the technological advancement or your superiority from the military side or the statistical way. Enemy never thought about, bravery of Indian soldiers and the junior officers. So that was a very difficult attack. In fact, one more incident, I can tell you, before going for this attack, and most of knew that we may not come back. We have written letters to our family. And there's a tradition that, it's a last letter you write, you put it in your box before going for attack. And if you don't come back, that box goes to your home. And when your family opens it, when they read the letter, you are writing, they will only get it if you will not come back. So you first write, by the time if you are reading this letter, I will be sitting upside, right? I will no more be in this earth. So, that's a kind of emotion we have gone through where we are sitting, but we are preparing for our death. We are writing as if we are no more. And then whatever message we want to give it to our family, to our parents. So that's a kind of, Josh which Indian Army has shown. And because of these qualities, because of these action, we could turn the tide and got a victory which was near impossible. And after victory of Tololing, everything was changed, right? Then we have not stopped and keep getting
no looking back.
No looking back.
All the move ahead.
Yes, keep getting
so getting mentally equipped, emotionally equipped, and overcoming all those emotions. And then just one thing is that you do or die.
Yes,
that's how we go ahead.
That's what Indian Army is known for. Adverse may be the situation, right? They were put into the situation, but they say we will not give up, right? Time was also against us. We knew we have to we have to defeat them within a particular time. Otherwise, our entire supply line
would be gone.
It will be gone.
And like how we say, the neck of India would be gone. And
yeah,
the body goes where the neck goes. So the same. So like you have mentioned about not being, aptly geared up with everything that was available at that particular moment. You all had to win a war and locate your enemies. The first challenge is being locating them and then bringing their intentions down and then moving ahead. So what were the, if I should put it this way, those are very cold temperatures, minus temperatures. So any issues like ice bites and, casualties from Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So what were those challenges and how did you all manage to just overcome them?
So yeah, because as I told, we were not actually prepared for this mountain warfare, and each kind of warfare requires a different kind of equipment. So in a mountain, you definitely require a snow gear, right? You also require a snow boots, because if you are walking in snow and you do not have, you have got a frostbite. In fact, many of the Jawans lost their fingers just because they were not having a full proper equipment, snow boots and all. When we were not having the full equipment in terms of our night vision devices, so many time it was like for entire platoon there was only one, whereas it should be part of everyone's kit. So many times it was not there, but still, despite these issues, we decided that we have to move ahead, because we could not say like that till the time everything will be there, we will not plan our move. So we had a lot of deficiencies, starting from equipment. Initial, our guns were not there by the time we got our guns. Air Force was not able to make much difference because they were carrying the kind of Stinger missile. So there was a lot of limitations, and enemy actually planned for it. So we cannot move ahead with this thing. But I think we decided that the constraint of resource or constraint of equipments or time will not stop us. We will continue, keep going. That's why I also agree that there is a lot of casualties, a lot of officers you have sent, young officers like Captain Vikram Batra, Captain Vijay, Major Acharya. They are no more. We were all together, so that's a loss we have to go through. But this is how we ensure that at least the prestige of the country and the honor of tricolor is not down.
So, sir, like you mentioned about Captain Vikram Batra and Captain Vijay Thakur, and as the recent movies like Sher Shah, which is made after Captain Vikram Batra, how does the real life situation that Captain Vikram Batra was in differs from what has been depicted in these movies?
So I think movie, they put a lot of glamour and some imagination is also there. So I'll tell you, once we captured Tololing, we were just staying there. Vikram, I met Vikram that time because he was given the responsibility for the next attack, next peak, which is point 5140, right? So he came, and for last 2-3 days, we continuously talked about what enemy, what kind of tactics is used by enemy, right? Is he putting mines, what they do, what kind of, attack they put, what kind of surprise they use. So we had a lot of discussion and all, because he was preparing for the next attack, and we just got the first important victory, right? So we were just passing on all the information so that he's fully prepared for these kinds of attack. And I must say, he was a Josh box, right? He was a very, very positive officer, and he was kind of having this confidence that we are going to win right from the day one. Okay. And in fact, he just say when we are just talking, that you need to be a little careful, because they will have a lot of snipers who will be suddenly kind of putting you under fire from a totally different direction. So enemy is sitting on top, but you will find one sniper is sitting on the little away. So he will have a different angle of fire. And he just say, sir, ऐसी तो अभी कोई गोली बनी नहीं है पाकिस्तान के पास जो विक्रम बत्रा को मार सके. So he was always, he was a lot of optimism, and we always say that yes, with a Josh you also need to take care of this. So he had a lot of Josh, right? And that's why enemy was, and he was passing a lot of command and all, and his code name was Sher Shah. So that's why movie Sher Shah name was there, because when we do our radio communication, we don't take real name. Every officer has got a code. So his code was Sher Shah. And in fact, the other side, he was very emotional guy also. One side, because, I was just telling him when we were talking, and he was asking, I was just saying, I just got married 1 month before, right? I got married, we moved to Firozpur, and we were not even able to settle down in our house. We were in guest house, and then I got this posting to J&K, and I came to J&K, and this Kargil War, which is the most difficult war which India is facing, right? So suddenly, sitting from a very cozy, comfortable position, you are sitting in a place where chances of your life is even 2%,
very
right?
Sudden transition.
Yeah. So it's like a shock. And think about a girl who has come from a totally civil background, right, and she is facing this kind of situation, right? So he was also sharing that he is going to get engaged in some time and all. But we were all sure that we will go back, we will live our life, we will win for our country, and we will not die for our country, right? We were very sure we will defeat enemy. So that's the thing. So movie has got some glamour, some imagination, But yes, as a person, I must say he was full of josh, very positive, but on the other side was very, very emotional, which was evident only, in some time.
So what was your immediate reaction, or I should say, what was your emotional side when the unfortunate incident with him happened and you got the news?
So Vikram got the victory in 0.5140. That was the next attack, 4875, and when they were kind of leading this attack for Tiger Hill, he got martyred. And also my another very, very close friend and junior, Captain Anuj Nair, Mahavir Chak, he was going from the other side, he got martyred. So I think for me, it was like losing a part of my life, to tell you truth. For Tololing attack also, we lost Major Vivek Gupta. And before we were going for attack, we all hugged each other. And we have not eaten anything for last 1-2 days because, we were so busy in preparation. And we just keep arms and ammunition. We have not taken anything, food and water, because we thought we will get it. But we promised to each other then we will kind of get the victory, then we will have a really feast, right? We will really eat because celebration we will do. But he died while just very close to the enemy bunker. So I think with each one of them, it may be Major Vivek Gupta, Captain Anuj Nair, Captain Vikram Batra, Captain Vijay Thapar. Each of this, they were like my brother officer, right? And I think I lost a part of my life. That's how. So that's what I say, freedom is not free. It comes with a lot of price. And every day, is still somebody is paying for this freedom for us, all of us, who is still guarding our border. We did it in Kargil. When we got the independence, somebody made the sacrifice to give us the freedom. But we always think that, for this country, freedom is free because we were born in free India. But, I just want to tell my countrymen that freedom is not free. Somebody is still paying the price for this every day, every night. And, we owe something to these guys who have made their supreme sacrifice during Kargil War, because I think that was really threatening the integrity of our country.
And as you mentioned, losing a part of your life, and so how or what are the emotions that any Jawan on the border from any regiment, what are the exact emotions that one feels when he is in that moment of do and die, wearing that Kesariya banner and knowing that he's there with his fellow men, also family is waiting for him back? How are these emotions taken care of, or how do these emotions pop up? And then what is the exact josh that the Jawans have that that give them that impetus? No, we have to keep all this aside and now move on.
So I'll tell you who is a Fauji, right? I'll just kind of take a minute. So Fauji is someone, and I'll just talk about a Jawan who is just going to fight, right? He has got a family. So he has got 2 small kids who he loves them, right? Maybe more than his own life, right? He wants to ensure to give them the right upbringing, ensure that, he stays with them. He really loves them. But still, he is ready to make them orphan. Just think, it is not only about his life. He also knows if he will not be there tomorrow, his kids, his children will be orphan. But he is able to take that kind of chance because he loves his country more than what his family is. So that's a kind of dilemma and sacrifice each one has to go. When as I told you, when we were going for this, I was just married for a 1 month, right? I know I may not come back. And obviously a girl which has just come to my life, and then obviously it's a lifetime bonding, she is going to be widow. But that's a chance we take it because we know something is more important than ourselves from our family, which is a higher cause. I think, that's how somewhere we have to keep our personal thing at the back and move on. I think some of these things, how these feelings are being developed in our NDA days, in our IMA days, also for Jawan when they do the training. The oath we take before we take the Antim Pag. Antim Pag is the pag we take before becoming the officer. And the essence of the oath is the welfare, the safety and prestige of my country is comes first, always and every time.
Service before self.
Yes. And the comfort, welfare and safety of my Jawans, my comrades, my friends comes next. And my own comfort, my own family, my whole welfare comes last each and every time. So, from that time itself, there is a conditioning that if there's a conflict between you, your family, and your colleague, what is supreme? So, your country is supreme. That's why you are wearing this uniform, right? Those stars, those stripes. Then your colleagues, whom you are responsible for leading in the battle. That's why I say, officer K, I will come in the front. I will lead from the front. Even if the first bullet comes, it will hit me, not you. And then comes your own safety, your own family. But it's easier said than done. When you are seeing that, the consequences of action which you are going to take, right? You have got a parents who are looking forward to you that, you will help them, you will support them when they are in their old age. You will not be there, right, to look after your parents. Your children will be without their father. You are going to make them orphan. Your wife will not have husband, right? It's difficult to raise your children, your family without you, whatever, other facilities are there. Each of them, you love them. You want to live, but still you are ready to die for a higher cause, for the honor of the country, and ensure that each of your citizens can keep the freedom. And, somebody has to pay the price. So it's difficult. And I think, to keep our emotions in check, not only ourselves, and motivate our Jawans and everyone so that we achieve something which is like impossible. Yes.
So I would like to tell the viewers that in the last attack that Captain Akhilesh Saxena led, he suffered with major injuries in artillery shelling. Sure. And so if you could let our viewers know, how did the shelling cause an impact on you? What was it, and then what happened after?
So this was the attack of 3 pimples, again a very important attack, and this was given to Rajputana Rifle after victory of Tololing, right, which turned the tide of the entire battle. So we were going for this attack from 4 sides, 4 different officers were leading it together. I was with Major Mohit, and both of us were kind of, moving ahead. And we were very close to enemy bunkers and all, and enemy was, obviously he knew we are coming, he could see us. So there was a lot of artillery fire which was coming from Pakistani side. They were using their rocket launchers, they were using their guns. So every fire is being drawn on us, right? It was a very difficult battle, I think, because this was the battle where we lost maximum officers. So we lost Major Acharya in this battle, we lost Captain Vijay Thapar and Captain Kishing. So 3 officers' life were lost. And when we were moving up, we were very close to bunkers and enemy target. I was also hit by the enemy shelling. One part of my hand has blown away.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was so cold and I was totally frozen by that, that particular impact. And then I realized that a part of my hand has gone, right? But I could not shout, because if I start shouting and my Jawans know that their officer has been hit, their motivation will be down, right? So I told my buddy who was very close to me and who could see that, his officer has been hit. I told him to keep quiet. We carry a field dressing. I put that field dressing on my hand and we kept fighting, keep moving up, because I didn't want anyone to know and, waste all the sacrifice which has been made by the time we reached there. We keep moving up. We kept fighting with enemy and closing the distance. After some time, I lose my consciousness because I lost so much of the blood. And most of the officers and Jawan died because after being hit, there's no medical care, proper medical, other than the field dressing, we don't have anything.
So come to the injuries.
Yes. So, but then, I lost my consciousness. Somehow he put some water and all, and, I regained my consciousness. By that time, we captured the peak and all. But issue was, how can I go back? I didn't want to take many Jawan with me because, if somebody is trying to lift, at least 8-10 people can lift you because you are going through the, mountains.
Correct.
I say, no, I will just go with one of my radio operator or my buddy. I just put the field dressing, tied this hand above my head so to minimize the blood loss, and we started walking back in that night around, I think, 2:30 to 3. It was very difficult journey, most difficult, obviously, few hours of my life. Because every step I was taking, my body was giving up. I was just saying, you cannot take one more step. So much of blood has already been lost and the poison of the bullets already start showing its impact. But I have not given up. My will has not given up. I say I need to live for my country. I have to fight another battle till the time we win everything. And I keep taking every step. Many times I lost my consciousness. In fact, my Jawan thought he lost me many times. But somehow, he put some water. I again regained some, took few more steps. After a lot of struggle, I could reach the firm base from the launch the attack. And then I don't remember anything after that. It's just a God grace that I'm talking to you today, because, by the time I reached my firm base where the first medical assistant was given, more than half the blood of body was already lost and a lot of poison has already gone inside. I only regained my consciousness when I've already gone through 2 operations and I was in Srinagar base hospital. Then I was flown to Delhi for the further treatment. I stayed in the hospital for nearly 1 year, and because of permanent injury, I was not allowed to go back to my regiment, right? They wanted me to stay in peace station. So life has taken one more turn. I say I've joined army to be at the front, right? To face the challenge. I cannot sit at the back. But everyone asks me, you're a war hero, right? You have done so much, you should stay back, even if it is, Delhi, Mumbai or the... I say I cannot sit at the back. I've taken another challenge in my life. From my hospital, I start preparing for my MBA and other exam. And after 8 months of hard work, I got through some of the top MBA colleges, including IIMs, FMS and XLRI. Being in Delhi, being under treatment, I decided to do my full-time MBA from FMS Delhi, right? So that was the transformation, being from the army, totally away from the books, corporate world. I started that. And I just want to say that the quality which makes you successful in the battlefield, which makes you successful, they will make you successful in any part. You go to corporate, you go to anything. But the quality of success, the quality of leadership remains same. They do not change. The battlefield may change, the battle scenario may change, your targets and objective may change. And in fact, I wanted to give everyone. I got few job offer being a Kargil War hero. I really refused them. I said, I don't want any job because what I did for my country, right? That was my duty. Correct. And I think putting tricolor on Tololing, winning these peaks is the biggest achievement of life, right? But I don't want a prize for that. Whatever I will do, I will build my competency. So I did my full-time MBA despite having few offers, passed out with a gold medal from FMS Delhi and joined corporate. So today I am vice president in a senior position with Tata Group. And I think it's a great firm, great corporate to work for, with same value system and ethics what I imbibe from the army. Life has taken different challenges, but the same qualities which help us winning the battle in Kargil is helping me any day to win this.
Do you ever feel like if you still get an opportunity, going back on the terrains, having a gun in your hand and again...
Yeah. So that's what I told my chief that time, that if you allow me, despite this injury, to go back to battle or go back to the front, I will not move out. But I cannot sit back, right? Because I left a good engineering college, joined NDA, joined army just to be at the front, right? I cannot sit back. But because of my medical injuries, army, there's a kind of shape 1, shape 3, shape 4.
They have their own protocols.
Because protocol. So they cannot send you this thing. So I say I've got only 2 choices. Either I will go back to Kargil where my unit is still there. I will serve with them, fight another battle if required, fight terrorists, or I will find a new challenges in my life. So that's how we moved on. But despite being not in uniform, right, I'm very sure I've got a motto to do, right, to inspire generation, right, because we are very few war heroes still alive. Last war other than Kargil was in 1971. So not many officers who fought Jawan are still alive. There are very few officers who fought in 99. So, I really want to inspire the nation. In fact, my wife is writing a book, on our life, nations first, right? Because we want to give that message, because this story, what we have gone through, what is the price of freedom, it has to be told to everyone. And that's my motto. Despite being in corporate, I continue doing my bit to inspire the society, to inspire the nation, and just to ensure that we are making our nation stronger.
And for the concluding question, how does the family of a Jawan plays role and gives the impetus to the Jawan for being at the forefront?
So that's a very important role. It may be Jawan's family or it may be officer's family, because there's a weak side of every human being, which is his family, right? He can take chances, like a bachelor can take chances because he still think I do not have a family, though parents are still there, but he can still take more chances. everyone thinks, what will happen to my wife, what will happen to my children, right? As I say, I'm ready to make them orphan. So he's little weak. So that time, the family play a very important role. When I was going for this posting, I had a discussion with my wife and I told her that it's a very difficult attack, right? And I don't know what will be the outcome, right? Though she was from total civil background, but she told me, I married you knowing you are an army officer, right? And I know that true love, that true priority of each army officer or a Jawan in this country, that's your first choice. So I'm ready to face, just do your duty, and I'm sure God is with us, so we will be together again. But just go and do your duty. So that kind of words, that kind of encouragement really help, not only from family but from the fellow citizens. If they really believed in you, then you can do wonders and ensure that the prestige of